So I build fences in between music stuff, and it's become more of my primary work and how I put food on the table. Towards the beginning of being a fence contractor, the work is more sparse, and so I had started to get behind on bills and was just trying to get whatever work that I could. And I had a scenario where I was in that situation. I was in a difficult financial season, and Jerry, somebody that works for a fence supplier that I would purchase from. And so I had gone up on a particular day to get some fence materials that I bought from them, and the forecast for that day that it was going to rain. It hadn't started raining yet, but the forecast was gonna rain. And I was praying, like, oh, I hope it doesn't rain because I really need to finish this job so I can pay my rent, basically. And I got to the site, and Jerry would always come out to meet me and have some fellowship even before I would purchase my materials, because we were both Christians, and he always seemed to have wisdom that he was able to share. And that day was no different.
Okay, my name's Jerry Stafford. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I grew up in Baton Rouge until I was 13 years old. That's when my mother died. Affected me enormously, okay? Hurt me, crushed me. So I'm 15 years old, so I enlisted in the United States Air Force. I'm thinking that this is a better life than what I got. Sure enough, I got in, it was an easier life. Went to school, went to Wiesbaden, Germany, come back. A little over 16, I decided I wanted out. So I got out, come back to Livingston, Louisiana, tried to go back to high school. Things didn't work out, didn't fit in. So I quit high school, went to work. Still searching, unhappy, chip on my shoulder. The world owes me. Why did God do this to me? Got married, 1966. Had 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. Got divorced in 1971. Still lost, still upside down. Just going through life.
Jerry's like a sage, like a working man's godly sage. His story is fascinating when you get to know him. Because I asked him if he would pray for me that it wouldn't rain that day because I had to get the job done. And he looked at me and almost sternly and fatherly in a way said, you know, son, I'm not gonna pray that today because you don't know if a farmer down the road hasn't been praying for it to rain. So just trust God with his timing and wait your turn, and you'll get it finished when it's supposed to be finished, and everything's gonna be okay.
Around 1980, decided to get in the fence business. Start a business, never been in business, never built a fence in my life. But I always had confidence in myself that I could learn. As I look back, this is where I realized, I didn't notice at the time, but this is where I realized everything you want is just past fear. I got married the second time, we had 1 son. My wife at the time had a son, so now I got 5 children in my life. And I'm trying to be a dad, father too. I went to my wife one night. We had been doing without for so long. I went to her and I said, look, I want to tell you how much I love you. I love you so much, I'm going to set you free. You can go. You didn't sign on for a life like this. So I want you to go. She looked at me and she said, I took the same vows you did. I'm not going anywhere. Well, I think you can see through that how that was a big boost, you know.
Up to that point, my perspective on blessing had been very transactional. We are to walk in his commandments, and that demonstrates our love for him. And I know that life and blessing does come through walking closely with him. But there are times and seasons where you just have to be patient with his timing. When he first said it, I was taken aback, and my initial response was, I don't want to hear that. Like, I'm struggling, I need to pay the rent. But I knew almost immediately afterwards, like I really needed to hear that. Like something almost broke off of me in a sense when he said it. There was power in what he said.
One Easter morning, she said, "You want to go to church with me?" I said, "Yeah." Don't know where that come from. Not at the time, but I do. Got up, went to church. Normally I sat on the back row when I went a few times so I could get out without being noticed. But this particular morning we sat on the second row. Had an evangelist there, Lee Castro. Never seen him, heard of him before in my life, and haven't since then. He preached God's message. When the invitation came, you couldn't have held me in that seat. The Holy Spirit had me. Out of that seat, forward, front, center. Really, it was rededicating my life. I accepted Christ at a very young age, but I didn't surrender to Christ. I started to see that God, what God, holy God is, and who am I? Realized I'm just a sinner saved by grace. I am a happy person, okay? I may not smile a lot, but I am happy. He has just blessed me so much to put people in my life to encourage me and then allow me to help them. I think I met Ian on the telephone at first when I was still in Louisiana. We had a lot of good comments. He would randomly answer the phone. Was that a coincidence? You know what a coincidence is? God remaining anonymous. We had a lot of good talks. We shared, we encouraged one another.
I knew based on his life, his maturity, the amount of years that he's walked with the Lord, I knew he was speaking from a place of experience, and I should take note of that. And I trust him too, so I knew he was telling me something that he had learned through the years. And so in a way, though I initially wanted to push back on it, accepted it and really identified it as a blessing, actually. After I got the materials loaded up on my truck, I started driving to the job site, and I knew on that drive I needed to write a song about this. It was just too good of a lesson not to be written about. And I had a scheduled songwriting session with Joel Russo and our friend Laura Guthrie. 2 hours later, we had the song.
So I thank God for every gift, and I trust him in the doubt. I don't count the ways the world is going round. 'Cause your rainy day's the end of someone else's drought. And when the sun is rising on your town, and someone else's sky it's going down.
It's a fun song, so I wanted to capture it feeling upbeat, hopeful. So we wanted the sound of the song to be that way too.
I could give you example after example in my life. I'm 76 years old. Plenty of time wanting to give up. Sometimes I did, even, okay? But I'm here to tell you, he's with you. If you want him in your heart, he is with you. He will not leave you in these hard times. He gives you just what you need, okay? This is what Ian needs. he got it.
I'd hope that they take away from it is if they don't know God and they don't have a relationship with God, that God, through Jesus, wants to have a relationship with them and guide them through life and help them through the difficult seasons. For people that do know Him and are wondering where He is in a season where He seems distant or not coming through in the way that they hope He'd come through, to patiently wait on Him, continue to trust Him, and know that He is working out a plan for their good. Even if it doesn't feel good, He is working all things together for good. If they love Him, He has a plan and a purpose, and He's working that out through those circumstances. It's been a great encouragement to me. It's helped provide peace to me. It's helped remove fear and anxiety from my life. But I get there a lot faster now because of that advice that I received.
Thank God for every gift and trust Him in the doubt. Don't count the ways the world is going round. 'Cause your rainy day's the end of someone else's drought. When the sun is rising on your town, when the sun is rising on your town.